Okay, now let's take it to another place.
Yeah.
We get on the phone, we call up CAA or ICM or something like that, and we say, I'm talking about our company, we say, we have a new writer, we'd like you to take a look at them, something like that. They're okay. I say, I have somebody from New Media, and they're like, what? We'll represent the writer, but not the new media, you know what I mean? Is this changing? Are you...
Refine that a little bit more for me.
You say? Sorry. So we got a website series.
Right.
So, I've got a writer who has a movie and a website series. They'll say, I'll represent the guy in the movie, but not on the website series.
Right.
We say, we're trying to bring the website series over to TV, and they don't know what the hell to do. They'll represent the TV deal if the TV deal happens, but they still don't know what on the other side.
Look.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, look.
Is it just too new
still? No, let me. I think the principle has not changed. What I'm going to express to you.
Okay.
I think we go back to this macro and the micro. I think the macro is yes. I think it is still too new. I think there are a lot of wannabes at the table saying they can do this and do that, but I think it's all on a defensive posture, meaning why give it away? Hold on to it. If it breaks on its own merits, you've inherited it. If it hasn't, you let it go. You didn't lose anything. So let's go to the micro. The micro is that, and this is the principle I still think that holds up. It's up to you to understand where the market is vulnerable. So what you need to do is you align yourself, look at the producers who are doing these kinds of projects. And we're all looking for and I say this in a very conservative way, the Achilles heel, which is where can you find an entry for your particular creativity if it happens to be on the website. Now clearly right now we have 2 web shows out with a whole bunch of people, and everybody's over the moon, but no one has put any money, and there's not a lot of money. And I have a dear friend of mine, 2 of them I'm having lunch with next week, that are doing a big 90-minute web show and over in Culver City. And so I'm going to sit there, I'm going to watch, I'm going to hang out, I'm going to have lunch, and I'm going to see. But the thing that I found out about that, and I think this is where that issue comes about, is if you're going to put your eggs in the basket of wanting to do a web show, and that's the only thing you want to do, there's nothing else, then be very, very cognizant. You're not going to make a lot of money again. So if you're thinking that this is a cash cow, it is 1 or 2 years down the road. Because, let me give you, I work hard at avoiding the 21st century words, but forgive me, all right? Monetize. Everybody tells you how they want to monetize. So that means how do you make money and multiply the cost of what it takes to produce that show, get it out with advertisers, and make that the advertisers come in, support it by giving you money, put their ads up there, and at the same time that the eyeballs, the words used in the website versus audience, the eyeballs are the ones, all those, hopefully Generation Y, because they're most of the people that are on the, scrolling around all the time. How do they build the ad base so the ad companies say, you know what, you got all the Hungarians, and they're worth about $10 million. You got all the Romanians, they're worth $20 million. That's $30 million in revenue right there just on ad time. Wow. So you've built a business. You've found where the vulnerable part is. But I would say to you, if you're going to be designing your universe, your creative universe, to doing that, I think you're limiting your options, and I don't think that's a smart way to go. Because let me ask you a question. If Zwick and Herskovitz couldn't make it work, regardless what the opinions are, with NBC, you tell me how easy it is. It's not easy. And if you're going to play the ratio of 1-to-1, that's not good odds. I don't think you like those odds. Because how many web shows are really in existence? We're not talking about streaming. We're not talking about when you take Lost or you're taking Heroes and playing it that way and spinning it off into a web show. That's a whole different platform. So I would say you be really, really more cautious. Be smart about where you're going to put your time. Now, I can't, this again, it's a personal view. You determine individually what you love and what's important to you. If that's important to you, hallelujah, go for it. But again, line yourself up. Find the producers in the community in illustration. Take it on the bigger level. Let's say that it's, Jerry Bruckheimer. Let's use him because everybody will know who that is. Jerry Bruckheimer, you notice, has been doing features with a certain kind of thematic view, certain kind of event nature, and you think you've got something. You know what you do? You tap in, see how you can get to the Jerry Bruckheimer person. Lowest person on the rung. And that voice, because don't forget, anybody in the company, producer, network, studio, corporate, anywhere, Everybody wants to go up the ladder to be successful for many reasons, whether it's ego-driven, whether it's personal fulfillment, whatever the reasons are. But no one, rarely no one, wants to be here. They want to go up. They want more decisions. They want more power to be able to influence decisions. So I'm just saying to you, sometimes you have to connect with somebody a little younger, a little lower than you, in the sense of that, you're 50 years old, you've done a lot of things, and you're saying, geez, I got to talk to this 25-year-old person who just got out of college 2 years ago. Oh my God, how do I do that? But they're the ones who are going to sell this better, because that's who everybody listens to.
It's such an entrepreneurial business, and that's the nice thing about it. But yeah, so we say it all the time. It's like, I was on the phone with a 12-year-old, but they're going to be the creative executive next week and the VP after that. So as an agent, do you want your people out there marketing themselves? I'm talking writers. What do you want?
Well, that's one of those again. Please accept the fact that I always find the gray area of these things, because there's no, from my point of view, there's very rarely black and white. I think there's rarely black and white, whether this is a good script or bad script, whether it's good writing or bad writing. I think consistently you can find somebody and say, everybody says, I don't like this script, I don't like this script, I don't like this script, this is a better script. But I think it's the same point of view about your own careers, and I think more often than not, I find that talent tends to irritate people and rather than stimulate them. So what do they say about coffee? Coffee irritates, tea stimulates. So I think if you can stimulate and not irritate, then I think you've done yourself a good job and a favor for yourself. But if you've irritated somebody, what happens when they read something? They're reading it from the wrong point of view. Look, I had a government teacher, and I was getting a D+ in this government class. And what I realized is that my government teacher, this was I was a freshman in high school. And I couldn't figure it out. I said, you know what? The guys who were getting, I was in military school. The guys who were getting the A's and the B's, I said, they're not smart than me. I'm in the same military classes with them, and I'm getting A's, and they're getting B's, C's, and D's. What's going on here? I couldn't figure it out. So he started instituting something which I thought was good. And maybe we've all had this. He made sure that all our names on the paper at the end of the paper, not in the front, right? And because I always felt like you're tainted by the fact that if you have a personality in the class, or being a little bit disruptive, it might affect somebody's opinion. They may be less judicious, And I started to get better grades. And so he said to me, Larry, you think it's because you put your name, I had everybody's name at the back. He said, I wanted you to work harder because you've been doing it, you've been sliding. And so I realized he was giving me a D because I was sliding. And so I would just say to you is that it's a full-time job launching your career. And if you, regardless, and I know you can't put your name at the back of that paper and get that advantage. That name is right in the front, because you also have to acknowledge, we all know you always register your material before you show it. So California law protects you, because if you just registered, as a little parenthetical note for everybody in this room, if you learn anything from me, this is the one, and if you learn and remember nothing else, just this one thing, you'll thank me. You make sure you register it here, if it's California, register it in the state, so you get the protection that if you only do it under the federal statutes, you register Writers Guild, etc., you wind up being the beneficiary. That if somebody has stolen your material or plagiarized it, and you sue them, you can only sue them for the actual value of what would have been lost. You can't sue them for any other damages. So let's say the script, they bought that script from this person for $100,000, and they actually stole it from Mary. And they said, well, you're only entitled to $50,000, and they deduct court costs. But if you say that script became Spider-Man and made $300 million, you can sue them for the whole $300 million value of what perceived value was for for the hurting of your career or the impacting of future revenue. And court costs are also imputed on their side, and they have to pick them up. So it's a huge financial gain.